All right, we're here and ready to go for another fun-filled, fabulous Warmachine live stream, I guess. This is your one-stop shop for amusing news, announcements, and a lot of strategic talk all about a game that we all love, which is Warmachine and Hordes. So glad you're here. I'm John. I play House Kalis or Dusk currently, and I'm patiently waiting for Protectorate to come out. Hopefully, I won't be waiting for like 4 years. We'll see how that goes. Let me bring on my co-host. Today joining us, as always, is the one and only Alex Cosma, but he has assured me that he's actually not one and only. Good to know.
And there are a couple more out there.
Right? And Chris from Boost to Hit. Is that right, Chris?
You got it. Thanks.
All right. Well, guys, why don't you say hi to everyone and tell them what you're working on?
Hey everyone. So what I am working on, I am continuing with the refining process for my Brine Bloods pair, but also building up some grave diggers in the background. So as the collection comes together, we'll start experimenting there in the footsteps of our last discussion with Brandon Owens. And this week, I'm excited to talk about Winter Corps, a faction I used to play.
Yes. So this is the Winter Corps sword. Winter Corps episode. This is the WK episode. Never mind. It's the Kata episode.
Step in and help him. It's the Motherland episode.
Yes. Welcome to the Motherland. Corporate musings. I quite like that actually.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that's good. Spelled with a K. So Chris, what are you working on these days?
Well, a couple of things actually. From the creative standpoint, Boost to Hit just put out an old Umbry spoilers podcast on Monday, right after the embargo went up. We just Sam, Tony, and I deep dive into the auxiliary expansion and give our thoughts on that. If you haven't checked it out, please by all means go ahead and do so. I also am doing a soup to nuts retrospective review on all of the old Umbry releases to this point because I think we're at, I don't know, missing like 2 or something like that. So we're pretty close to army complete as far as releases, or at least released rules go. Enough that, there's an article to write about it. That should be going up. Well, it was supposed to be today, but today got busy. So tomorrow, let's go tomorrow.
Tomorrow. You heard it here, folks. Actually, Chris, if you send me a link to that, actually put it in the chat.
Heck yeah.
For the Umbre episode. That brings us to news and announcements. That's actually a really good transition, I guess. Gen Con just happened. How exciting was that? Not as exciting as I wanted it to be, but it's still pretty exciting. A couple things that came out of Gen Con. They had the Phantasm there, which, crazy enough, I know like 2 weeks ago we were talking about like, will I have my Phantasm in time for Nova, which is August 28th? And I thought, probably not. Well, I actually have my Phantasm and my Nostilla and Aberration in my possession already. So I don't know how that happened, but SFG is getting better at the basic blocking and tackling of giving us cool models. So we have to give them a little credit, right?
Yeah. Stuff's coming out closer to on time. And, you don't have to wait too long to have the new shinies in your hot little hands.
That is nice. And I swear, I will swear on anything you guys want me to swear on. I looked for a long time to try to find really cool Gen Con pictures to show you guys. And you can ask Alex and Chris. They were here pre-show with me while I was looking for them, and they were helping me. I couldn't find any cool pictures. So if you guys have cool pics, post me a link in the chat. I'll put them up on the screen. But there was, I think, a new cadre box, right? A 2-player starter that was previewed at Gen Con, which was Orgoth versus House Kalis, which very, very cool stuff. It was sort of a winter themed ness almost for House Kalis, and then undead themed Orgoth, which were just awesome looking. And you just have to take my word for it and use the theater of your mind's eye, because I'm not cool enough to have pictures for you guys, even though this is a video medium. So full failure on my
much
part.
Much like the previous 2-player starter boxes, these are in fact not core armies, but cadres. So this is going to be like the Hellslingers versus the SKS Commandos, or Foul Blood's Armada versus the Night Shard is in ambiguous territory for where it slots in. But much like the previous starters, these will be playable also with the new armies, which I think we can hopefully look forward to in 2026. So this is as of the leaks that are not to be mentioned, the Nis Hunter cadre versus the Orgoth Deathless cadre.
Right. And so you think that means that we're going to get new armies in 2026 that'll be House Kalis and Orgoth?
Orgoth and Dusk for sure. And again, based on the whoopsies back in November, these are looking to both be Fury-based factions.
Oh, lame. I hate that.
You're going to have to learn how transfers work after all these years.
I used to play Legion. Give me a break. Yeah. This is my spirit animal right here, Jay Beatnik. Nobody cares about any of the others. All we want is Protectorate. Let's just get it here and call it a day.
It's really amazing how many diehard Menite players there are still in the community, holding out and holding out and holding out for the faithful to come back.
All right. Well, one thing I do have pictures about, and I don't want to go too deep into these. We'll just do a quick overview.
Oh, I think you hit the mute button on your microphone again.
Mute button.
I did it again. I'm sorry. There's a mute button right on the side of my mic.
The physical mute button is just your bane.
Well, also doing things live or being on camera, probably not good. I have a face for radio. What can I say? But anyway, speaking of cool stuff we can show you, let's talk about these guys. And I think what I'd like to do is just kind of give a quick overview and then refer people to both the Boost to Hit release, and then Tried and True and Battle Driven also did a deep dive on all these models. So we don't have to go too deep into it, but just kind of give a quick impression. First thing I will say is, oof, these guys look cool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they look awesome. Man, I'm waiting for Protectorate. I'm not going to play Old Umbre.
Keep telling
I'm not
yourself
doing it.
that I gave up.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. There. Okay. This is actually kind of perfect. Did you guys see this?
Yeah.
Gregorian bringing the heat.
The bare necessities. Nice.
It's the bare necessities. I have kids.
They make a pun on that in their blog too.
Yeah, sure this is an impressive auxiliary expansion. Really gorgeous models, but also bringing to bear a lot of tools to have the faction feel well-rounded. Having played against it a couple of times, even with very narrow options available to them, Old Umbre is incredibly strong. But I think this opens up just tremendous build versatility. I don't know, Chris, you're the expert. Why don't you take us away with a lightning round on these guys? And your thoughts?
Expert, I don't know about all that.
We'll just go through them one at a time. Let's start with the new caster, Reznikova.
Smash.
Smash or pass. You're just like 100. I'm in. I'm down.
110 out of 100. Yeah, this is said it on the podcast. I'll say it again. She's damn good. Maybe a little too. We'll see. Need to play. Without games, I don't like to call anything busted out of the gate, except for Big Pig. That was obvious. We all knew it. But she's strong. If you like control, you're an old school protector player like me. Hi, still in the waiting room too. She ticks a lot of check boxes that I've missed in the game. I think she's going to be really good.
I think she's neat. And she's got a lot of interesting synergies. She has Stranglehold in a faction with Geomancy, which I'm not sure how I feel about. It's a little scary.
On heavies that can throw POW 15 Geomancies or POW 15 Strangleholds from turn 2 onward.
Feels good.
All right. Anything you want to say about what she does? I mean, you said she was a control caster, but what are some of kind of tools that she has real quick, Chris, if you don't
Yeah,
mind?
so her control largely revolves around strangle holding heavies to mitigate the actions that your opponent gets to take, just giving them suboptimal turns. She has a good feat that works similar to entering difficult terrain, -2 defense and -2 speed. Also gives everything in her army spring blades, which isn't really talked about too much. I mean, heck, I didn't even rank it too highly, but that's one of those rules that just kind of low key is free damage that you just get as long as something lives. And there's, especially in this box, there's a lot of tanky things, so it'll come up.
I
The other
think
thing she gets to do is put out forests, block line of sight. She gets to nuke things with her unique spell Thistle that gives her bonuses to it or boosts to attack and damage rolls if your target is within 2 inches of a forest. Thank God she can create those. She has a control range gun that ignores concealment and cover. POW 14. Oh, it also creates a forest. Why not? So between forest terrain manipulation, feat, stranglehold, and then things like harvest, keeping her fury efficiency high, she really kind of gets to play this cool game of sandpapering down your opponent, limiting what they can do with their heavies, and just kind of, I hope it's not too miserable, but she can create a kind of miserable board state where you just grind your way to a victory. This just tickles my fancy so much.
it sounds amazing. Sign me up. I'm not going to play Umbry. I'm going to say it again. I'm not going to play Umbry. All right. Here's some of her rules. Cool. All right.
Just an interesting geometry meditation. If you have shield guards and you want to avoid them turning into thistle bait, from just giving her free damage against your caster, if they're small base, they have to be, or for any base size, they essentially have to be at the maximum 3 inches to deny that.
That's wild. All right. Is this the attachment right here?
It is the attachment. Yeah. So the Dark Sister, I can't remember. It's one of the two blogs. I can't remember which one it was, and I don't want to say it wrong. But it was the best quote I heard about this, which is, "This has the most words per point on a model in the game." Her rules are nuts. She has so many of them. Like
And
an
most of
absolute
them are
novel.
unique.
Oh my god. Her shtick from a high level is she collects corpses, she does things with them, she gives out a pseudo star-crossed bubble, but it's always on, it's not a spell, and it increases in size with the corpses that she has. Oh, if there was only a way we could get corpses in Old Umbry. Oh no, that's going to be so difficult. She spends corpses to throw out spells, one of which, if she damages with it, allows you to transfer your warlock to transfer to the target that she damaged. That's called Peak and Pine. We're going to have some real fun, janky stuff with that. It works just like Bloodmark, if you remember Rasheth from Editions Past / in Unlimited right now. She can pop out concealment to a model. You're probably almost never going to use this. And then her big claim to fame is, aside from spells, she can boost attack and damage rolls with those corpses, which is really good because she has a 3-inch AoE blind on a stick. And not AoE as we know it in Mark IV, but AoE is in a 3-inch template, goes down on the target you hit, and everything touched is blinded. Very beautiful. And then a melee weapon that has Starve, a wonderful rule we've seen on the Starved.
Fair enough. These guys are pretty cool. Another Legionman unit, so more things you can pop surprises out of, right?
They're a marked unit. They have guns. They have ambush. There isn't much more you really need to say about them. They're great. 6 points, cheap as chips, good firepower, headshot for denying tough, love it. And they can ambush, and you can pop werewolves out of them.
Wild. These guys are probably the coolest unit.
Bearcat.
This is the promise that Yana finally fulfilled, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're gonna see. You'll see some Yana double Bearcat lists. I promise you. All the bears, all the time. It's interesting. They remind me a lot of the Steelhead Cav in that they're not just straight melee beat face. They've got spray 6s with POW 14s, pretty good. They've got 3 initial attacks, 2 of which are POW 14s with crit knockdown, and 1 of which is a dinky POW 9. They're all range 1. They're a little bit slower than your average Cav, but 8 boxes at a 12-18 is a pretty all right stat line.
With unyielding.
With unyielding, yeah. So they're not going to be super easy to take down. They're coming in at, I don't want to call it a bargain basement price of 10 points, but it's pretty low for what you get out of them. And with the number of buffs that exist in the army, you're going to see these guys performing really well.
I mean, they are
Well,
Legion too.
also
Just
just as
saying. Yeah.
as sort of spoilers for our future Winter Corps discussion, it's a large base unit with multiple POW 14 melee attacks. But this one is meaningfully better than the other one.
In what way?
Well, let's continue scrolling down. I mean, we'll start at the speed 7, but we'll get to the Urson champion. These guys can crest POW 16 without any spell support, which is a big deal, in addition to not being as slow as molasses.
Yeah, that is nice. Actually, this guy has got a lot of really cool rules. Why does every faction? All right, I saw that they have precision strike. I'm not going to play Umbri. I'm not going to do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, guys. I'm not doing it.
Hey, cheat codes are fun. You should use them.
I should. I honestly, the vampires should have precision strike. They're very organized. Vampires are orderly. It's just BS that we don't have tactician on, but that's a story for another day. He's got Stir the Blood, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yep, he makes your army hit harder in melee. He makes all of your liegemen hit more accurately. He can make your small base liegemen faster. And then he's an absolute unit of a model himself. There's nothing to hate here.
What do you think the odds are that it wasn't small based liegemen at first?
Oh, I bet that it was.
Precisely 0.
I'm sure they tried that.
I'm sure. Yeah, they were like, no, we can't do this. I'm sorry.
Well, as much as I do want to see the cocaine bear meme become a thing here, because that would be so great. I'm sure that they tried that and were like, maybe a little less speed for the bears.
Yeah, I think that's actually, if you just look, the werewolves are fast and offensive, and the bears just in general are defensive and tanky, which is kind of how they feel like in real life, right? Actually, how they feel in real life. I don't even know what I'm saying. Ignore me.
How many bears have you gone out and met?
I've been to the zoo. What are you talking about?
Oh, boy.
All right, so here's some more of the shapeshifters, right? So the marked models and the liegemen can turn into these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yes. Arguably like bears in real life, slower, tankier, good damage, great defensive abilities. You're essentially looking at, much like this is red versus Red Circle or Grimkin, you're looking at red painted Umbral Guardians here, which is pretty neat.
Umbri Guardians.
Umbri Guardians. There we go.
Umbri Guardians. Oh my gosh, you guys are the worst.
And then we've got the big brother, who, much like the Lupine Apex, the Apex Ursine, also cranks these guys up with Retaliatory Strike and Defiant Rage, especially for models that are going to be pulling multiple gunshots on entry. Yeah, you can get those little bears hitting pretty hard.
I guess we should point that out, is Protective Rage is a different rule than Shield Guard. So the turn they come into play, they can actually take 2 shots, which is real nice. Speaking as somebody who plays in a faction with more or less 1-point Shield Guards, when you have disposable Shield Guards, it is quite nice. And these guys are only 3 points. What does the Apex give you? Defiant Rage, we talked about that, right?
Yep, and Retaliatory Strike.
Nice. Retaliatory Strike, I've always found, is sort of It's
a nice bonus when you get it.
Yeah, it's not something you turn down when it's like free, but you don't go out of your way to get it, right?
And it's good on a model that has a pretty decent stat line like they do. They're beefy. They have a decent chance of sticking around, maybe through a hit. So if you get it, it's cool. They also have beatback, so they can just kind of.
Last thing we. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Chris.
Oh, you're good. No, you're good.
Last thing we kind of elided over is the Liegeman Hunters. So this is rounding out the dork catalog of Old Umbre. The Liegeman Wardens are your low-cost, multiple melee attacks goobers that you can run and score things with, or sacrifice for corpses, or divine inspiration, or turn into were creatures. The Liegeman Hunters at a very mild premium give you access to both ambushers and to dorks that can run around in the courier army. And even as they're turning into corpses or were critters, can be contributing business with some reasonably powered guns that straight up deny tough and RFP.
Yeah, you hate these guys, right? Imagine being the Brindwood player.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
You know how I was talking about like a lot of the things that drove Brine Bloods out of the meta kind of like going away? It is annoying to me that Old Umbre is bringing back comparable levels of Brine Blood denial.
I have no sympathy. I have been on the receiving end of pigs way too many times. No sympathy.
All right. Well, I don't think we need to say anything else about Umbre, and I think we should probably get to the meat of the reason why we're here. Why everybody's hanging out, which is so we can talk about these Winter Corps, huh? What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh, except I'm an idiot. Hold on.
So we're starting with this last week. We had a poll on our Discord after announcing it on the Gravediggers episode, where users on the Tried and True Discord could go into the Amusing Panda channel and vote on which casters you wanted to see highlighted for our Winter Corps review. And I am just scrolling around to find the poll itself. I know it was pretty stacked, but the two we're going with are Yana and Baranova. So Yana getting 16
Baranova,
votes.
did you say? Baranova? I'm just saying.
Oh my god. Yes, Yana and Baranova. So Yana with 16 votes and Baranova with 10 votes. And then if we have spare time, a little bit of a Vilcool lightning round.
I like it. Chris, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with Yana?
I think that we start with Yana. A lot of people, she was the most popular by far. And I think the reason is that her list building in Winter Corps is unsolved. She just recently got updated, only a couple of months, it was a month and a half or so ago, not long. And so there haven't been any major events where she's really been seen a whole bunch with her new rule set. There just hasn't been a lot of exposure or experience people have with her. By far and away, everyone was like, yeah, Yana's the clear winner. So let's go with her.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
John, you got the app pulled up?
Oh, I probably should add it. I'm like scrolling through stuff, like pointing out stuff and being all cool, but yeah, I kind of forgot. Sorry guys.
So just a top level observation. We'll go through Yana's kit in a minute, but it's worth pointing out, her icon line just to start, because this is gonna result in some strangeness when thinking about considerations for her. She's got a bunch of attacks. There's an icon that's missing. So we got the 50 mil, we got the unstoppable, we got the trample, which is actually interesting. It's odd to think that she can choose to move 10 inches and then start throwing spirit fangs or other spells. We got the Pathfinder, we got the cavalry and the gunfighter, no dual attack. So as we get into her text rules, that's gonna make some odd things happen for her.
I think it's okay that she doesn't have
the bridge too far.
I think it's okay that she doesn't have dual attack, to be honest, because she has 4 initials, 3 of which are power 14 or above, and then Kadar has access to good damage buffs in puissance. I don't know how you say that. And then she's got Fury strength, right? So
I wouldn't say she has access to good damage buffs. I would describe it as she has access to minimum viable damage buffs.
I think they're good. All right.
Well, anyways,
we'll just talk. One of the things that's kind of interesting is she's sort of like a lot of casters. She has a couple lanes that she can inhibit. Number one, Conferred Rage is just a fabulous. Jacks is one of their strengths. I mean, I think their jacks are great. I like almost all of their name jacks. And then, is it Great Bears? Whatever, the bear jack.
Great Bears, Dire Wolves.
Yeah, the Great Bears are very good. The Dire Wolves have their places too, right? But
arguably more with Yana than in other lists.
Yep. So Conferred Rage allows you to, just makes your jacks that much more efficient. And then, you start doing Avenging Force tricks with Conferred Rage up, and you can do a lot. And it should be worth noting that you can trigger Conferred Rage with her Javelin, which is range 10, and she's speed 7. So like you can make things happen with her. Another thing
also worth noting, and sort of where the trample icon comes into prominence. If you're looking at early game turns and your opponent is carefully positioning to inhibit Conferred Rage coming off her Javelin, she can still trample and throw offensive spells. So you've got a pocket sneaky 3 inches that a lot of players may not necessarily be thinking about.
You are Arcane Attack 6 though, so that is a plan that is wrought with failure points, but could be pretty cool if you pull it off. So
yeah, not too bad. If triggering off of everything is just very flexible. It gives you a lot of plays you can make on a turn. Like to Alex's point, it's just stuff you might not be expecting, or your opponent might not be expecting.
Yeah, I heard somebody make an interesting point about Yana, which I haven't been able to escape in my mind's eye, which is in most regards, like she's essentially Kirax from Shadow Flame Shard, just painted red, and like her rules are written slightly differently.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that. I was going to point out another thing. I think in the sort of strength column that you can give her is she's very personally dangerous. She is
she's very personally tough.
She's very personally tough. So she can bully, particularly in the late game, but even in the early game, she can be pretty far forward and far safer than a lot of other casters because she's arm 18 with 20 boxes, but she also has a shield.
Yep.
Right. So, I mean, and she can't be knocked down. She's an immovable object. She can't be pushed, slammed,
no drags, no harpoons, no heavy cannons. You just got to get through her the old-fashioned way.
And that's a lot. To go through, 20 boxes on 20 armor at Dev 14, that's a lot to get through. So again, she's personally dangerous, and she's very, very tough. She's got Iraq 2, which sort of is going to limit our choices in which direction we want to go with her, I think, a little bit, but that'll make the discussion fun. I agree with that. I think that would have been cool if she was a Dragoon. That would have been awesome. But I don't think they've brought Dragoon back. So,
well, I don't think they've ever brought a Dragoon caster into the game either.
No, probably not.
Nope, don't believe so.
All right. Well, let's talk about.
Hold on.
Let's talk about general.
We have a serious question we have to answer.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried to throw a spear from the back of a bear while it's mauling something?
Who hasn't?
No.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point on why she doesn't have dual attack.
Yeah. Can't argue the logic.
Yep.
Yeah. The 50 millimeter base can be an advantage. I typically think of it as a disadvantage for your caster because you can't hide behind anything.
Importantly for Steamroller 2025, as well as somebody who plays an army that has all 50 mil leaders, trench warfare really sucks when you don't get cover on your leader and everyone else does. Boy, is that fun!
That's punishing.
Oh man, I didn't even realize that Hazroth doesn't get that. I played a whole game assuming he had cover.
Well, I mean, it would have mattered if I had bothered putting a tax on him. I mean, I know I could have lit him on fire and he would instantly die, but
Yeah, exactly. Okay. All right. So for me, go ahead.
So one last aspect to talk about, and sort of this creates, Yana's decision dilemma. So her feat got reworked, so all aspects now apply to battle group models. So it gives models in her control range Pathfinder that start there. Additionally, friendly faction models gain cleave and overtake. So you're getting movement tricks out of killing models, you're getting extra attacks, you're getting Pathfinder. This can give a lot of value. Most of her spell list is oriented toward warrior models, but conferred rage and the advantages this provides to Winter Corps' warjacks, say battle group. So, the big decision dilemma is infantry focused, which I'm not a fan of personally, combined arms, or big battle group.
I think combined arms is the way I would go.
Mm-hmm.
But that's me.
Direction I've been leaning with her, though, I think that I go 60-40 battle group, maybe 70-30 battle group heavy.
Well, this is your list. So let's start with battle group. Let's start filling out battle group. I think Medveditsa is like kind of a no-brainer with her. What do you guys think?
I think that that Mama Bear is really good with her. I'm going to make a personal plug here for War Criminal Razor.
Yeah, I love Razor.
Yeah, I was Razor was jumping out at me as well.
Yeah.
The addition of Razor's already a native swift hunter. Razor brings a knockdown gun. I mean, I think Yana also has, if you're going combined arms or battle group heavy, we can talk about the characters, but it seems to me that the obvious starting place is scroll up to Avalanche and just double tap that. Because Yana gives access to speed just natively through conferred rage, we're taking the fastest jack that Winter Corps has access to, so native speed 5 Great Bear-ish heavy with access to fleet. You still have access to Avenging Force and superiority if you want it. You can stack these guys up to fairly ridiculous speed values. And if we're going with War Criminal Razor, we're already bringing a knockdown vector on a model that's fairly tricksy. I feel like Avalanche is just such a great starting point for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Chris? You want an Avalanche? You want
at least one alongside Razor, and that might be a double up. One thing I've tried in the past too is that so Conferred Rage is pretty cool for enabling direwolves to not be kind of as derpy as they are. A 10-point direwolf that's just one of the melee weapons with shield guard gives her another vector where she can bully the board herself, be safe, and she can get Conferred Rage to get it up to Mat 8. Now, is it as good as Mat 9 on the Avalanche or Razor? Absolutely not. But we can make this sucker 10 points relatively easily. And I probably just go with the hammer. It's a question if you want the hammer or the axe. I go back and forth each day. So
I do have to say I'm a little bit just on my list of grievances, I'm a little bit resentful that, the balancers looked at the ice hammer and the long axe and said, oh yeah, one of these is really bad and the other isn't. Let's make the good one as expensive as the bad one.
Yeah.
You couldn't bring the bad one down in cost.
Yeah, I know. We live with what we have at the moment. I do hope for a little bit more of a little bit of a points adjustment in January for the direwolves. I think that they got done a little wrong. They're still good, but I think they're hurting.
And they also don't have any cheapo left hand options anymore.
No, they don't.
Essentially their lefties were all brought up in power, but not sufficient to justify the increase in price tag. Because when you were getting these guys for 10 points with a shield and a POW 17, or for 9 points with let's take a derpy little saw, you could feel pretty good about that pretty easy. Now it's a much harder ask, just because their cost floor is so high.
Yeah. And most other lists, I've been moving away from this and just tinkering around and playing. That I've moved around from like the 1 to 2 nerd dire wolves because 10 points, honestly, you don't get as much as you want to for them. Yana's a particular case where conferred rage means that mat 6 isn't actually mat 6, and you can get some work done with them. Also, they become kind of like these hyper efficient output machines on feet too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of want the reach weapon for feet because I feel like you're going to send this into troops.
I've done that. I've done the reach weapon a couple times. It works well. It's good.
It's something to consider. But let's just let's talk through some more options. So, is there a 12-point Great Bear that's really good for this? I'm just kind of curious. Probably not because you're going to want to take aggressive.
Not particularly.
No, and if you're looking at the Great Bear, like on balance, I think it doesn't get the free charge, but I think you'll probably come out wanting the Avalanche anyways, just because the package is tighter and more cohesive in the direction she wants to lean in. If we were looking at it, in my opinion, if we were if we were looking at a Great Bear, we would probably be looking at a heavy cannon Great Bear to supplement Razor as an avalanche enabler.
Yeah. For melee Great Bears, I think that, especially with Yana, that you're first looking at the avalanches, and then you're looking at Mama Bear, because she's only, find the 2 points for Mama Bear over a melee Great Bear. She's just straight up better at that same exact role. And so after you've gone down that number of jacks in that tree, then you can consider a melee Great Bear. So if we're considering a Great Bear at all, which isn't bad, I've played the heavy cannon Great Bear, and boy, is that fun. I do like that little guy. He's a setup, another momentum knockdown setup gun.
All right.
So we've got the starting elements of a battle group here. And, Chris, I want to ask you, when you're looking for spice, because if it was me building Yana, I think I agree with you that it's going to be either a heavily battle group justified combined arms split or a strong battle group. And then you just go through and, double tap Khador good stuffs. What's the kind of seasoning you're looking at to fill those like 40 to 30 points? That you'd want to see.
Yeah, I mean, John's hovering over the auto include Mr. Damian Karovnik there, because what's better than casting Fury Strength? Casting it, then your Warcaster not having to do that.
Yeah, we need some good targets. I mean, obviously Yana's a good target, but I would say we probably want some others, but we can talk about those in a minute.
Yeah, we want some others. So the way I kind of looked at Yana, building her from an almost protectorate mindset, how I used to build protectorate armies way back in the day. Boy, we're just on this waiting room tonight, aren't we? Goodness. In that, I like the beefy melee upfront jacks, but I liked having good range support behind them. I was talking with John earlier about Redeemers, laying covering fire. Heck, what got me into Protectorate was Deliverers, and this is where Winter Corps really just delivers, in my opinion. I'm not really looking at, I'm not looking at the Shock Trooper Gunners. They're too short range. I am looking at Winter Corps Infantry with greedy eyes. I think that these guys are, for 7 points, they're a wonderful little package of efficiency output. I'm looking at the Hounds always. That goes in the catalog of Winter Corps good stuff. They're great. Just you can take them and feel great. Not the hunting dog, the Hounds.
Because sorry.
And this, you know what? I don't hate snipers with her either. She likes throwing that spear. She likes fishing for some crit armor piercers. Having a sniper unit with a hunting dog for marked target. She's a rat 7. What's wrong with a rat 9? Feels pretty good to me. I don't hate it.
Well, there's also like a bit of a challenge with Winter Corps. Because after WTC last year, we just happened to be like having a beer in a park. And I sat down with Rick Coe from up in the Buffalo area and had a very long discussion about, sort of what the Winter Corps options are and what give you the most bang for your buck. And while the infantry have gotten some love and while they bring more bodies, that conversation left me with the impression that even if you're looking at a battle group centric list, even if it doesn't shoot that much necessarily, you're probably looking at racking Avenging Force more or less by default. And a great starting point for most lists at that point, because you need units to take objectives, is double snipers with dog. They have so much ability to move up the board, to spread out, to gunk up places, to fulfill all the like minimum viable roles you need units for in the early game, and to act as fantastic triggers for Avenging Force. Because they can walk up, shoot, and then reposition, scatter to the four winds, go contest enemy objectives, walk next to your shield guards, and be prepared to eat AoEs. This going double on the snipers with double dogs lets you save a lot of points that you would spend on units by accomplishing all their functions at very low prices.
I could agree with that. And honestly, as we're coming down to the shaving section, this may be the Winter Corps infantry are going to get left by the wayside. I love them, but they're not 100% necessary. So, Alex, to answer your original question, as far as the spice goes, this is one that I've been particularly loving. And I started it with Boris just as a stupid, let's see if I could make this jank work. And they've just snuck their way into every single one of my lists. A one splash of Wrecking Crew.
No! I'm so not a fan of that unit.
I know.
All right, let's hear the spice.
That one was going to get you. But so hear me out. They're more durable than you think they are. They require quite a lot to take out. They have a damage, or I should say a durability profile that is just over the curve for most things, that can't kill them in one hit, but way wreck them in 2 hits, meaning that your opponent is inefficiently attacking into them to clear them out. And they're kind of just jerks. Also, they're good Avenging Force triggers. Because when they're actually where they need to be, they're hard to dig out. They have to be dug out. They're not really threatening in my mind. I don't use them ever really to threat. I think in like 4 games, I've made 3 attacks with them total. And those 3 attacks absolutely leveled something. That was kind of cool. They're also in Yana a great Fury Strength target, because that takes them up to 16, which is respectable. Dash gives them a threat range. It's not good. I'm not pretending it's good, but it is a threat range.
But Dash is important. So Yana does bring some things to help them that Sakura tries to bring and sort of fails at. One of which is, Desperate Pace is okay, but if you're leaning into Mana Wars, it's not enough. Dash, while only 1 speed, doesn't necessarily turn their threat projection up enough to matter. And I mean, if we're honest, neither does Desperate Pace. No. But it does increase their tactical speed. And one of the underrated aspects of Mana Wars is their large bases they move surprisingly far. And they're eligible for a lot more combat emplacements that can be meaningful. She also brings a damage buff that's less conditional than positive charge. And she doesn't have to use up a slot on Poissons. No. Is that enough to elevate them to great? I don't know. I don't personally think so. But she actually probably does run them better than Sakura.
I agree.
What I always see, what happens with Mana War, every time I've seen Mana War played, literally is the same plan, which is run and engager stuff, because if you can't charge me, you can't do anything. Because their run and engagement range is surprisingly far, especially with Dash. I don't know. Can we talk about them versus Pikemen?
Totally. But they're doing 2 different roles. The other thing for the Wrecking Crew that I'll definitely pump here, the reason I started taking with Boris was to have a forward contesting unit, but also they're a large base unit with Bulldoze. And Bulldoze triggers when you place. And that allows for some very I've never gotten the jank to actually work because I'm not that good with Winter Corps. I just started playing them, and nobody has yet fallen into my cleverly laid trap. My hope was to, at some point, bulldoze an enemy leader 2 inches forward and then reposition with a hit and run card out of melee so that Boris could just pop their head off. But that never actually happened, sadly. But I ended up finding out that they were a heck of a lot of fun just to throw in your opponent's base and say, you freaking deal with it now. And I've been finding a lot that it takes way too much effort for them to deal with it. Now, the pikemen, this is your second line unit that wants to play cleanup shop. It wants something else to go in to establish, like to set the battle lines. Honestly, it wants the man of war right in front of them to set the battle lines, and then the pikemen go in and clean house because they're not nearly as durable, but they hit much harder, and they actually have, to start with, a threat range that goes up with Yana. And as a second wave unit, they're very good, and they are very, very good when that crit armor piercing shows up.
Right, which I expect we'll have some discussion of in our second list. I just want to take this opportunity to remark on, I've had a lot of friends come back to the game over the course of Mark IV, and they're very excited about Winter Corps. And having to, like, we'll take the Shock Trooper Pikeman as an inroad to talk about one of the weirdest features of the faction, which is aesthetically, this faction is very exciting, but it does not function like other factions. So if we scroll through all this whole list of models, what we're going to see is this army doesn't really have engagement negotiators. This doesn't have guys who are on the front line to be like, difficult and entrenched or force your opponent in with long range gunfire across your entire force. Like, you can do some of that, but you don't have that first line that's built to receive an engagement unless you squint really hard. So like you're going to have to do weird things like, okay, we're just going to put an arm 20 10 point unit in the front and say, okay, charge this, but it also doesn't charge you very far, so it's not necessarily threatening. Or we're just going to put out a bunch of guns and say, boy, I sure hope you don't have range superiority, otherwise you'll have no incentive to engage me. When I was playing Winter Corps far more seriously, and when the Direwolves could go down to 9 points, my solution to this, because most armies run engagement negotiators in the form of some kind of infantry to eat table space, and then say, hey, you got to physically stand somewhere to kill these guys. Winter Corps, again, kind of doesn't have that. So I just spam a passel of like light heavies and say, yeah, these are going to keep eating board space. They probably won't kill you, but you also probably won't kill them for 9 points worth of effort. So we're gonna blunt your charge on, 27 to 36 points of battle group, and then the game will start. So yeah, your engagement pattern is going to be a little weird. I think Yana lets you bypass this somewhat, especially if you're bringing very fast warjacks to say, okay, so what? I don't have a front line. I don't have a real front line that you have to engage with, but I'm going to put warjacks into you from downtown if you decline to engage. Now, this weakness in faction construction puts both the Wrecking Crew and Pikemen in a bit of an awkward place, because both these units want to be second line units. They're slow, but they deal a decent amount of damage, a good amount with Yana. But they don't have anybody else to eat the charge before them.
That's why what I was thinking specifically was exactly what you talked about. We're going to play a battle group heavy. We're going to initiate with the battle group. The battle group's going to be moving with Conferred Rage, potentially, Avenging Force, Fleet. I mean, we are going to have threat ranges for days in a lot of instances, right? And so I was thinking that having a cleanup unit like Pikemen, which are particularly good with whatever her damage buff is. I mean, they get a POW 10 and a POW 15, so there's POW 12 and POW 17. They take her feet really well because they have a 2-inch reach weapon, so it just allows them to really, really dig on against multiple if somebody came with a lot of units, for example. The only thing I worry about is she doesn't do anything to help them hit.
I'm gonna
Which is
find
not
that's a theme in Winter Core, though. And that's also where our second list comes in.
correct.
Yana may not do anything to help them hit, but barring there's only a couple of very isolated ways to help them in the army itself. So that's not. I would say that's not a reason to leave them at home. Mat 7's already pretty good, and they do have CMA. So if there's something you absolutely need to pile drive, you can get up to a Mat 9 relatively comfortably.
Yeah, and then you do have the option if you do run pikemen, you can rack puissance, and then you whatever. Then you start getting some really fun damage numbers.
John de Marie can't pronounce puissance.
What? I'm an American, all right? Like, come on. I also, well, I mean, to be fair, I can't drive or park, so I guess that part of me is pretty Asian. But yeah,
I mean,
anyway.
That's pretty Asian, but that's also pretty French.
No comments. All right, fair
I'm
enough.
out of here.
So yeah, I kind of like the idea of us actually putting in more jacks and then some pikemen as like the follow-up. Fries with gravy. Get out of here, Sam. Get out of here.
No. That's my people, the French Canadians.
Are you Canadian?
I am not Canadian, but that's one of my big ancestry groups is French Canadian.
Nice.
I'm half Canadian. My mom was, so I technically have Canadian citizenship.
Yeah, I'm gonna dog on Canadians for just a second because I love them. But Canadians are the most fake nice people in the whole world. They act so nice, but man, they just absolutely obliterate you once you become friends with them. They are just savage. The only people that are like more savage, but they're more honest and upfront about it, is the Australians. So, all right. So I don't know. That's kind of what I think. We can look at some of these other options. I like shock trooper gunners. I just think they're a pretty effective unit. I think they're just good.
Yeah, they're just one of those, like, you can take them, they will perform units solidly. That's Winter Core good stuff.
Well, this is also, coming into, okay, we're looking at Wrecking Crew or Pikemen. These are all counterpuncher units. This again highlights like the total lack of a front line. I think of all the counterpuncher units Winter Corps has, shock trooper gunners are probably the best.
They certainly can do a lot. But Yana doesn't really.
I don't know that they have a place in either of these lists, but like, if for whatever reason you've figured out your frontline problem, you should be looking at these guys as like one of your considerations to bulk up your forces and develop a lot of caster independent damage for you.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like gunners have a place with Baranova for sure.
I do too. Yeah, I think that's probably where we want them.
And I'm not going the meme list. I thought about it, but I was thinking the all sprays for days list. And no, we're not doing that.
My old signature back when I was playing Winter Corps was quad direwolves, quad gunners.
Oh, oof.
I love it.
Gotta get arcs.
You gotta fight 36 points of jacks and like 120 boxes. And then behind that is just a wall of POW 17s up to POW 19s with battle plans.
I love it. That's amazing. Okay, so what I'm kind of thinking, is there any more solos that we probably want an officer, right?
You want an officer. Reroll good.
Yep.
Reroll good.
Especially for when you're trying to trigger Conferred Rage. You're just like, yes, I want to trigger this Conferred Rage with my Javelin. And
hey, booster 5s miss. That's all. I'm just saying.
Yeah, for sure.
Is she only rat? Oh no, she's rat 7. Okay.
She's rat 7. No, I mean, like, I need a 5 to hit. I will boost it. Sure. On occasion, half the time.
Any other solos? Volkova?
I think the Volkova is a consideration. Guidance on Yana is very nice, but at the same time, I don't think it's she is specifically necessary in this list.
Yeah.
She's so expensive for the ability she provides too.
Yes.
Like,
I
yes,
do think
like
she is a bit costly.
you're actually getting, bent over the table a lot just for how good her baseline stats are. So like at 7 with Hoarfrost, defense 14 with Snow Reaved, armor 16, mat 7 with Battle Wizard, and a POW 13 reach critical freeze is like, yeah, but I really want a 2 or 3 point platform with ancillary attack and guidance.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
Yeah,
Oh,
you want her
Zarya,
to-
why are you such a
definitely.
badass? Why can't you just be more plain Jane?
probably want
Well,
some Arcanus. Do you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely for sure.
1 or 2
Uh,
units.
I
One
would
start.
start with 1 just because Yana can. It depends on what she wants to do in a turn, but she can be relatively free with her focus.
Yeah.
No,
I
I
don't know.
think the other
What do you
question-
think, Chris?
I think that she can be relatively free. We definitely want to start with 1, and we probably stay at 1 even with a bit bigger battle group. It's really
Mhm.
nice when you just get to sit there behind a wall, defense 18, camping 2. You've cast a couple of spells, you've thrown a couple of spears, you're feeling good. That's a fine place to be. One other solo that I might posit for consideration is the why am I forgetting? Oh, the Bison.
Yes. Well,
It's
this
really
is this is
good.
part of why I was asking. Okay, there's a couple of options. How spicy are we gonna get, or do you just want to tap good stuffs? Because like tapping good stuffs is like, okay, give us double snipers, give us the hounds, give us double bisons,
Yeah.
and then battle group to taste.
That I think that's an easy list. I don't particularly think. I mean, I think that it's fine. I'm not sure that Yana is the best place for running that shell.
I agree. I don't think you want to go above a single bison, especially because as you're running a more premium battle group, you start to run out of room for bison plus officer, bison plus officer.
Yeah.
We
I think
also have not put in any counterpunchers yet. Did you guys want to put in the 1 wrecking crew?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
some pikemen?
Let's add that spice. We'll see where it takes us.
Now we're getting dangerously low on points. We haven't got our second avalanche yet. Like I feel like we need I
Well, I think
already
the
feel it.
infantry can go at this point. I like the 2 snipers more than I like the Winter Corps infantry.
Okay, that's good tech. Yeah, the bison does a lot of work, and the other nice thing about the bison is it sort of stacks with your jacks in creating more armor 19 lot of boxes for
Mhm.
them to chew
Mhm.
through.
It also lets you establish a hardy presence somewhere else on the board. So,
Indeed.
what we're looking at here is at least 3 heavy warjacks with good boxes, good armor. And that's going to be a tight core. Doesn't necessarily need a screen because it can come from a million miles away. And then we've got the Man of War Wrecking Crew, which can sort of be deployed as a bit of pinch hitters. Like the more I think about it, actually, the more these guys are kind of fun on scenarios like wolves at our heels, where your opponent's like, ah, ha, ha, I'm going to deploy some skirmishers opposite your objective, and you put down 3 armed 20 guys, and you're like, yeah, good luck with that.
And now you know
Um,
where I'm going with this.
Yeah,
I just love putting them in places that just make my opponents roll their eyes. Just this real. Oh, come on. That's why I like them. I want that reaction.
Yeah,
I mean,
or like we talked about in the module episode, you can put down that bison and the officer somewhere near where the officer can walk to Yana if he has to. But just say, yeah, this side isn't scoring super easily either. And if you put your little objective securing dorks on, they're going to eat a bunch of POW 10 blast damage auto hits and just disappear.
I like that. Interesting. Any thoughts to this guy?
I
Probably
have
not.
thoughts. None of them are appropriate for film, though.
Yeah, Sergey Kroll is. I spent a lot of time trying to make this guy work. He's aggressively bad as he exists today. So let's take a look at Sergey Kroll and what his failures are. I mean, starting with his successes, Jack Hunter is neat. I would much rather see that be a more generally beneficial rule, but it's neat.
Sure.
He has a drag gun, which is neat. He has multiple ranged attacks. He has dual attack with a pretty respectable weapon. Steady, sturdy, tune up you're basically never going to use. Let's talk sins. One, Jack Hunter's just a weak ability. When it's good, it's good. Most of the time, it's probably not going to be relevant. Leadership Man of War's gain tough. This is a particularly pathetic leadership. Because you're talking about 3-man increments in 10 or 11 point cost. Tough check is almost a nothing rule. And yeah, you can get some tough steady and it can be annoying, but like you're paying a hefty premium for what ultimately amounts to a fringe benefit. Next, point cost 5. Point cost 5 is really high in an option where almost like where your good stuffs are all premium. You're in the state of Winter Core right now, you're looking at a bunch of premium.
Mm-hmm.
And most importantly, his cardinal sin, speed 4.
Yeah.
Like we talked about how with with the Man of War units, they can be deceptively fast because they have their large bases with the unit movement rules. That can be neat. And like Bulldoze is really good on them. On Sergei Krull, with the range of his weapons and his melee range and all this stuff, he is never, ever, ever in a position to do anything. And like, I'm looking at this model, I'm like, oh man, this is going to be, it would be so cool if he could drag that. Oh, he's way too out of range. Like unforgivably bad. And point cost 5 on top of that unforgivable speed 4 and his other lacks is just the most disappointing thing.
Yeah, I didn't have to look at him too long. I agree with everything you said. This guy, he sucks out loud. And it's not even a drag gun. He has a skewer gun. So
yeah, he has to hit damage. Yeah, with his Rat 6 POW 13.
Woo!
Yeah. Now, people like to dunk on, in comparison, people like to dunk on the controller as the worst model in that box.
I like the controller.
When I played the controller, like I went in expecting Kroll to be boss and the controller to be mid, and for me to cut the controller from a lot of lists. After a couple of tournaments, I'm like, I mean, mind you, I think this faction has problems, but after a couple of tournaments, I'm like, gee, maybe I go 2 controllers.
Freeze is hell of a rule on a gun.
Freeze on a spray.
Freeze on a spray that can be Rat 8 with mark target or get rerolls to hit. Drive Shatter is like weird. Hauler is weird, but his body is good. And like Spray 10 POW 14 is a lot better than Range 8 Skewer.
Yeah.
Also, like weird fringe benefit to controller. Yes, it's still Speed 4. Speed 4 is hard, but this model doesn't try to be forward. This is a model that's happy sitting in the back line. Weird feature of the controller that often gets overlooked. Cargo Claw has Open Fist. Open Fist has a bunch of weird implications in that this model can choose to make power attack throws in addition to his critical pitch. But what's really wacky is you can run defenses and take a bunch of powder kegs and give your controller surprise anti-infantry guns or anti-defenses weapons, because all it takes to use the powder keg rules is not to be a warjack with Open Fist, it's just have the Open Fist rule. And he's like literally one of 2 warrior models with the Open Fist rule.
Yep.
I think he's fine for 4 points. I mean, honestly, for 4 points, what are you going to complain about? I mean, he's 10-19 with 10 boxes.
Yeah.
Plenty good.
I think he's fine. He can be situationally impressive. Just like a lot of Winter Core solos, because you no longer need them for scenario, they go into like we'll see what I have points for at the end.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think clearly you'd rather have a Bison, right? So we have 19 points. We haven't put in a Bison or another Jack. This is where we have to start making decisions, right?
And
on
it's
what we're
hard to
gonna.
put in another jack if you're going to put in a bison. It doesn't happen at that point.
Mhm.
Well, we could massage a point out of there. We could put another direwolf in, right? In theory.
Oh yeah, that could be spicy.
Mm-hmm.
You could do a direwolf and a
Boy, I
bison.
wish you could get a direwolf for 9 points, and we could get
Boy,
the
wouldn't
direwolf
that
and the
be
bison.
great?
Right. It would be nice. I mean, do you want the bison that bad, or would you rather have another avalanche and then something
I
else?
personally am gonna go Let's go Warjack here. Let's get beefier in the battle group. That's where I want to see it go.
What do you want? World is your oyster.
You know what? Let's go with that another cheap nerd direwolf and see where that takes us, and then maybe the direwolves get tweaked a little bit and they look different.
Okay.
Because that's going to leave us with 8 points.
You want one to have a long axe?
I mean, why not both? Having a long axe.
Okay, that's fine.
So that actually starts to raise the question: if we go long axes on both these guys, where's our damage coming from in this list? Or are we sort of like fronting hey, I'm gonna look like I'm gonna play a game with you, but I'm actually just gonna kill your caster?
And
like where are we landing for attrition power with this?
What I'm starting to wonder is, what if those direwolves are now great bears that are actually hitting?
Yeah.
Because
do that.
my experience is that Yana doesn't need a whole ton of shield guards. There are only a few guns that want to shoot at her in the first place. And if you are really, really worried about guns, A, you can just play your other list. And B, you could just rack Iron Flesh, make her an RM22, and be kind of like unapproachable, or at least unappetizing to shoot at with most things.
Right. Well, also, if we're looking at replacement with Great Bear, one of those direwolves, because we got 9 points to play with, one of those direwolves that we cut should definitely turn into Medveditsa, so we don't lose that shield guard potential. Yep. Nor do we lose the Avenging Force AoE exploitation with those sniper units.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want? Do you want a shield? What do you want for the left hand arm?
It really depends on what the role is. This is Chris's spice, so I'll let him talk through the decision matrix.
Let's see where points take us. I almost want to do a battle axe just to have an absolute ass kicker of a great bear, something that just hits.
All right, so we're taking these direwolves out, right?
Yep.
And
oh wow, look at that! 15 points for Mama Bear.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was
yep.
That's what you mean by Mama Bear, right? Medveditsa?
Yes, Medveditsa.
That's is that literally what her name means in Russian?
I believe so, yes.
Oh, I have no idea.
Someone told me that. I haven't verified it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm going to go with it.
Yeah, let's see what ChatGPT has to say. I don't know.
All right, you have 4 very capable heavies in this list.
And I mean, the most important thing that we're not talking about that does merit mentioning with Yana is that Yana's a 5th, and she's a late game heavy.
Yep.
Yes. Wait, she's more than a late game heavy because she's statted like a heavy in most regards, but she does that thing that casters do, which is just like one of the important things about casters in the late game is because they have offensive spells or often ranged weapons, they can commit to a position, often score, and they'll kill incidental other models that are sort of like orbiting for scenario purposes, like the dregs that were hanging out to make this game go long. Yana hits like a heavy, but also turns off your opponent's late game contesters if you sequence her activation right, which is like really impressive.
I'm looking at this list and I just feel like I wish I had more points. Welcome to Wintercore. Is that what you're gonna tell me?
Yeah. Yeah, because the good stuffs is expensive.
The snipers aren't bad. Actually, the hounds are pretty well costed.
Yeah. They're aggressively well costed. They're pretty dang good.
actually don't hate this list. How are you feeling, Chris? Is there anything you want to adjust?
Let's look at command cards. Actually, as that stands right now, that's something that I would probably play the heck out of.
Yeah.
Who knows?
How about
maybe
you,
we'll see
chat?
that
What do you
on
guys?
Sunday.
I love it. I love it. Chat, what do you guys think of what Chris has wrought here? Are we happy with this Yana list, or do we need to make him start over? Because he is.
Chat, you guys maybe don't understand because I've been pretty engaged on this conversation because we're talking like in a sort of exciting context thing here. But if you catch me in any other context, I'm such an unbelievable downer, like Debbie Downer on Winter Core, and I would play the heck out of this.
This looks fun as hell. This ticks a lot of the boxes that no, Sam, I'm not doing 2 Wrecking Crew. I have my limits in standard. I think 2 Wrecking Crew is probably never to be used. And even if you consider it with Sakura, AV, but no, I don't think so. I still think it's bad.
I know this is blasphemous, but you could easily cut the Hounds in this list if you wanted to do something a lot different. They're really good. They're really good, and they're really good flankers. So
they're really good flankers. They operate independently, which is actually like kind of at a premium. They're also like a supplement to your Officer Bison flank, because they offer the ability to score 40 mils, not just stop them.
We don't have a Bison.
Unfortunately,
and they're also a nice alternative to Razor for that sweet knockdown, because you get so many attempts at it with Scribala's cannon.
Another war criminal. I think he is actually war criminal. Didn't they bust his ass out of prison or something?
Hey, Chris.
I have no idea on the lore on these guys, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Why don't you go through the synergies quick, Chris, for Emerald Dragon, just so.
Okay, so combos for the list. Let's scroll up so that my poor little brain actually keeps things straight. What we're looking at with Yana is we're trying to take advantage of the fact that she has an excellent battle group buff in Conferred Rage. Thank you, John. And we want to give big, heavy targets that draw attention and allow her the opportunity to bully the board. We also want to take things that are keeping her safe. So you'll notice that we have multiple shield guard options in here. We have 4 extremely hard-hitting warjacks, ready to rumble. Everything on here except for Razor is on a Great Bear chassis. So this is all stuff that starts at arm 20, gets up to arm 22 with shields, and just is generally hard as heck to just crack through. And then Razor himself's an arm 21. He's more of like a super direwolf, but he's just fun to have. That's the battle group. And then what we're looking to balance out with the rest of her list is getting use out of Dash and Fury Strength. Spirit Fang is a whatever, and then the other 2 are her 2 rack slots. Path of Destruction benefits everybody. So we want to take stuff that definitely benefits from the feet. We got 4 Warjacks that can do that. We got Yana that can do that. We've got we've got a couple of unit options that can, but we also have unit options that are multimodal that can take that can also lob some pot shots and actually establish a little bit more of a zone defense, zone clearing. That way we're not just so heavily slanted towards melee or too heavily slanted towards things that don't quite work with her. Long and short, that's what I'd say.
I like it. The Wrecking Crew and the Hounds all take whatever her damage buff is called, something Rage.
Fury Strength. Yeah, they take it. The Hounds take it reasonably well. The Man of War take it reasonably well. Their main limiting factor is actually, they quite like +2 power. Their main limiting factor is being in a position to use it.
Yeah.
Correct.
Which can be tricky.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And I mean, if nothing else, you've got Koruvnik for 3 points with a Razor Wind Spray, and then a late game. Oh, hey, here you go, Yana. Here's a free Fury Strength. Go be free and have fun.
Well, it's also not worth mentioning, whatever. Razor Wind is neat and all, but Koruvnik also has access to Spirit Fang, which can be pretty dope.
That's right.
But yeah, that's not a bad thing. Like, yeah, randomly.
Mhm.
I do mean randomly. It'll randomly be like, oh, this might win me the game. So let's talk. Let's quick before we move on to the next list, the Baranova list, which I'm super excited to talk about. Let's go through command cards. How would you see this?
Blessing of the Gods is kind of that's stapled onto your list. Lucky
Mhm.
Penny, yeah, stapled onto your list. Old Faithful, I would argue, is in this case we're running pretty battle group heavy. And we have no way to heal the battle group, so
Part of that is because the winter core mechanic is, for reasons similar to Sergei Krull, unspeakably bad.
yeah, he's atrocious. The worst repair model in the game, I would argue, or at
Right.
least in the
Yep.
Mark IV army.
Well, yeah, he suffers once again from not being a unit, from having low speed, and from having also kind of like Zarya Volkova, having a bunch of unnecessary badass rules that make him a point more expensive than he should be for being a slow non-unit mechanic.
Yeah,
I'm gonna vote that we take For the Motherland out. That doesn't look like it does anything.
Yeah, get rid of it.
I don't hate taking that out. It's one of those cards that I put it in there to be cute with the Wrecking Crew on occasion, and I'll tell you, half my games I forget to even use it on the turn they go in. So
I mean, even so, you're like, there's 3 models in that unit. You might
it doesn't
play,
get you a lot.
yeah.
I would strongly consider Sapper here.
I was thinking
And-
defenses, because your feat grants you Pathfinder, which means you can use.
Speaking from someone who plays a lot of Omo, one turn of Pathfinder is awesome and all, but what do you do after that?
Right.
So I don't hate having careful recon in your back pocket.
Yep.
No, I wasn't saying get rid of it. I was saying you could play defenses because you can set the defenses up such that you.
The problem with that is you're looking at using defenses on
Def 10 stuff.
Yeah, you're using defenses on Def 10 stuff, and if your feet turn passes and they're still behind that barrier, they're real sad.
Yeah.
I would strongly recommend Sapper, since we're not going the crazy open fist build options here. Sapper actually turns on a lot of things. One, if your opponent is leaning on defenses to prevent Yana's javelins from coming in, you can just say, get rid of that. The other is, if you're looking like, okay, my best odds out here is an assassination, and I have some heavies that can come from a million billion inches to do it, saying, let's turn off that wall that's giving you +2 defense in melee or blocking my landing spot. You will not use it in most games, but it will flip games that where you would otherwise be boxed out.
I've been finding more recently, just in playing, as a player, I'm not a particular fan of using defenses for myself, except for specific cases. I'm far more a fan of using Sapper. Maybe that's the old disruptor in me. I like making it so that you don't have a reliable place that you can be on the board, and getting to dictate a little bit of momentum that way, rather than sitting behind a wall and go, hey, come get me. And when we get to Baranova, that actually might flip, because, spoiler alert, I do like defenses quite a lot more with her. But she plays
super duper.
Very, very different game than Yana.
Yeah. Is there anything else we need to talk about? You could play duck and cover, I guess, but probably would use it on the hounds, if anything.
It's limited value, I think. I'm not crazy about it. I'm with Alex, I'd rather see Sapper. I think the inflection point, like the decision point, is, do you take careful recon? I mean, Lucky Penny can be on the table too, but an extra attack for Yana when it matters is, something.
I kind of like put the fires out a lot.
I like it, but there isn't a whole lot that it's really super great on here. The hounds are already immune to a bunch of continuous effects. The Wrecking Crew don't have tough; they can't be knocked down. So continuous effects either kill them if they're on 1 point randomly with corrosion, or don't do much. Ain't much to use them on, and the snipers will be dead.
The use case we're looking at for put the fires out here is because we only have one unit of Arcanus, and while Yana can sometimes be a little free with her focus, if it's going to be battle group go turn, and you have Warjacks suffering from knockdown, Shadowbind, etc., it's often worth the slot just to say, turn that off.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it. It's a fine, always like nice to have in your back pocket card. Do you use it always? No. When it matters, it matters. So it's good to have. I could go either way with that on that or Sapper. And then Careful Recon can also be in the discussion. I kind of like Careful Recon just to have that Wrecking Crew Jam turn be fully effective, so that there's really nothing that's getting in their way. Because they're already not the quickest guys out there, and slowing them down 2 inches more feels really bad.
Yep.
I mean,
and right now only
also just until you use it, it forces it basically adds 2 inches to a whole bunch of stuff's threat range, right? So it's like as long as you have access to it, your opponent has to play around it. So it's a pretty powerful card to have, I think.
I have never felt bad about putting Careful Recon in a card roster.
No.
Yep. Like I said, I think you could swap out Lucky Penny. I don't know that Yana needs it.
It's not vital.
Yeah.
If there were more currencies, like I never leave home without it in Infernals, but that's also because I put it on Orin. I don't put it on my leader almost ever. So I'm typically using it for another, like a soul token, or Old Umbra, you'd use it for a corpse token. An additional currency beyond just an extra focus or fury. Like it's good, and you'll use it all the time. But if its best use case for you on average is just giving you one more focus to camp, maybe change the turnaround a bit and bring another card.
Yeah. I might vote for Hit and Run over Lucky Penny, because Hit and Run is like useful in a lot of different ways.
Hit and Run is a great card.
Yeah. Let's do that. I think you're going to find more uses for Hit and Run than you will for Lucky Penny in this list.
I'd agree.
All right. Are we done?
I think so.
Heck yeah, print that. I'm gonna play that. That looks like fun.
I love it. All right.
We're moving on to the
Baranova.
Denny 1 of Winter Core. It's not that she's Denny 1. Yeah, not that she's Denny 1 powerful. It's just it's her designated job to polish all the turds to a mirror finish.
It is quite good.
So
at that.
the audience has voted, and we can put some spicy spice in here. Is it going to be good? No. Is it going to be way better than it had any opportunity of ever being otherwise? Heck yeah.
So I'm going to open myself to the experience here, because I have only tinkered with Baranova. I have been focusing on other Warcasters, so I'm going to let you guys direct a little bit more of this. I got a lot to say with Yana, and I have kind of a vision for how I want to play her. ECAT has always been that, to me, is that caster. It's like, I can take whatever the hell I damn well feel like taking, so I mean, Alex, you've already got me interested in doing double controller, though I might want to do that with Severian in the future.
Oh, if there's ever a place for controllers to marshal jacks with with Shatter, this is the place.
Let's do it. Let's do it. I want to see it.
That's so derpy. It's so derpy.
I want to see it though.
All right, so I want to point out a couple things that, for at least for us to think about. Number one, she's the only person in this faction that has arc nodes.
Yes.
Why is this important? Because they have some of the most offensive spells that you can rack out of anybody. They have ridiculous spells that you can rack. My favorite being Tempest, which we'll talk about. So, the other thing I kind of like is with Tempest. Tempest is an AoE 3 power 12 blast spell that knocks everything down that it hits, and every time it kills a model, you get a focus back. So, like, I would 100% be playing with Tempest in almost every game, because it also gives you an incredible, and I mean an incredible, threat for assassination. because AoE knockdown number one is hard to stop, especially when it's 3 inches, and then you can just run an arc node and arc it wherever. So I quite like that. I don't know. What do you think, Alex? Am I on drugs?
No, I think that's extremely potent. Tempest is a hell of a spell. Like Freezing Grip, though, I will say it's pretty much all you're gonna do in a turn. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing. I mean, Baronova does have some weirdo tools to get around it. If you polish some turds and go for long shadows, to really rack up bonus focus with other independent spellcasters, of which is, I don't know, it's so bizarre. John, this is your pet project. I wanna hear it from you. How would you take this caster at a baseline design direction level?
For me, if number one, because you're gonna play Warjacks because it's Warmachine, so you're gonna have arc nodes, and if you're gonna have arc nodes, then I'm 100% gonna rack Tempest, at least threaten it. But I'm also gonna set up. You don't have to like you could do Arcanus because they've got a spray, and then with her spell, her mini signs of important spell. What is it? Invocations of Wrath, right? You can make it hit pretty good. And they can kill some models, or power up jacks or whatever. But I probably wouldn't build for that. I think the way I would design her is to cast 1 Tempest a turn, have it kill 1 or 2 models, give you back 2 focus so I could camp 2, and then cast Invocations. So you cast Invocations first, you get the additional die and a reroll on your Tempest, so you're very likely to hit a lot of things because she's arc 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I would start in my kit. The other thing I would build for is taking advantage of her feat, which means you're number one, you probably want a cheap arc node, so you're going to build a direwolf. What I would use the direwolf for is the turn that you're coming forward to feat with her, because you have to be real aggressive, because in order to get models not to charge, you've got to be hitting the enemy models with it, and you only have a 14-inch control. So I would use a direwolf just for anchor to make sure that you stay steady, because she does have pretty victimish stats here. 15, 15, 16 wounds. My guess is in a lot of games she feats and dies. Am I
Yes.
am I saying something that's not true? So we've got to build some protections into the list for that purpose. But yeah, and then past that, things that I really like with her, because Invocations of Wrath is such a good spell. I really like things like, to think about, Mana War suppressors. These volume fire guns get really good as they become more accurate. Rat 5 is kind of a bummer, but again, you can put mark target in with the snipers, and then with Invocations is roughly 1.8 on the dice, on 2 dice to hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The other thing I would probably play, just because they're good, is Shock Trooper Gunners, because these sprays get real silly under Invocations as well. Like, just good, right? So that is sort of where I would come from. I would come from, I'm racking Tempest or potentially Freezing Grip. I'm planning on casting Tempest most turns, and I'm going to use it to just scare the hell out of my opponent. The nice thing is, if you do manage to knock their caster down, then things like Wrecking Crew and not Wrecking Crew, the suppressors or the scatter gunners can make quick work of a caster once they're knocked down. Like, they will eat their lunch. I think a Bison goes fine in that kind of plan if you want.
Yeah, and she does a lot to mitigate the Bison's sort of paltry Rat 5.
Correct. That's exactly right. So all those things that are kind of hard to hit with, she sort of makes average, which I like. And then again, she also has Tempest on a stick, so things like Rat 5, whatever, doesn't matter. Pretty good. And then you can play the controllers in there too. So then you have all of these enablers, right? Like you can freeze something with a controller, or you can knock it down with Tempest and then shoot it with whatever. And pretty much auto hit, do some damage. The only thing I wish, which I haven't figured out, is there's not really a way to buff damage in this list.
Welcome to Winter Corps.
Yeah.
That's actually the problem I have.
Yeah. So that's
there's not our first list. There's not a lot of ways to buff to hit in this faction. Welcome to Winter Corps. There's not a lot of ways to buff damage in this faction. Welcome to Winter Corps.
Yeah. An officer is definitely an auto include. And like I said, you cast Signs Importance first. So you have a reroll with Signs Importance. And then you just pick your targets well, right? You're not going to shoot the def 20 thing behind the wall. You're going to shoot the thing in front of it that's within 3 inches of it to knock it down.
Sure.
When you have a 3-inch AoE, you're almost always going to be able to find a target of opportunity, I think. And you don't have to cast Tempest every turn. Just the threat of Tempest is strong.
I think that merits like underlining for people. Tempest is it's a great weapon in that it's better to have it and not need it. All you have to do is show the handle. Just show that you're packing it. It warps what your opponent has to do as far as positioning. It puts an additional tax on them. And it gets late game. Things get a little weird. Suddenly, a caster is within 3 inches of something they should have been. Oops, you're dead. It's totally something that can happen.
All right. So that's one tactic that I would go through with Baronova is I would do the really efficient shooting of suppressors and scattergunners, whatever they're called. Because I think she buffs them pretty good. Gunners. Yeah, those guys. So that's one. The other
one sincere thing that was postulated as a bit of a meme, but lets you convert accuracy into damage. I do think, and it's worth mentioning that Baronova used to be quite a different caster a year ago. In that the Mastodon had significantly more internal synergies with the factions. With the factions roster, she still probably runs it the best of anyone because even though her feat has been weakened, it's still substantial enough to help protect a Colossal. And even though you can no longer put superiority on it, she compensates for its poor offensive hitting values. So that's one direction you can take it. Another direction, and I think if we're building for Spice / polishing turds, how you can turn the accuracy bonus into a damage bonus is run a controller running a Great Bear. So just go ahead and add this and I'll talk you through what I'm looking at here. This is maybe not the best thing in the universe, but this is a way to certainly offset the problems we're encountering. So the controller, he has his awesome freeze shot. You have the option to run Tempest or Freezing Grip with this caster because she has the chops to pull it off. Jack Marshall is not quite as much a penalty as it could be because we're going to be running Arcanus. And for the configuration on this Jack, you can make it cheaper. But if we're building it for purpose, I'd go head reposition, right arm grinder, and left arm blasting fist.
Ooh, I like where we're going.
So what this lets you do, Jack Marshall can give you free charges when it matters. So this Jack is de facto aggressive, but you load this guy up. Controller spouts off with his Signs Importance, maybe up to Rat 8, maybe rerollable, spray 10, POW 14, auto freeze, and this Great Bear comes in there. Maybe he gets range to connect with that blasting fist, but if he doesn't, hey, guess what? His first 3 gunshots are going to be against a heavy POW 14 4 dice.
Yeah, I think I didn't track it because I'm used to Shatter being a rule on the demo core.
On being a rule on things not with high rate of fire guns.
So the drive shatter is only melee weapons.
Oh, damn it!
Yeah, that's
it was so
I don't
cool.
think it works on the gun.
All right, never mind. Get it out of here.
You muted, John.
Oh, you hit the button again.
All right, so I shared a semi-serious attempt at building a serious list with her. Do you guys want to hear my meme list that I think is actually really good?
All gunners, all arcanists. Let's go.
No.
Ah,
No. I'll just talk you through it really quick. So we're gonna start with Nastilla and Aberration. We're gonna put in all the Mana War.
Oh, lordy.
oh no.
You have all of this power 20 stuff, and you're gonna be reviving to a turn, and you can make it all tough and steady with Kroll, who we talked about is terrible. And again, this is totally a meme, but with her feet, number one, being behind walls and walls of Mana War will make her pretty safe. But the other thing is, like, you can give it a turn where your opponent can't charge, so you get to move into scenario, and again, you're reviving to Mana War a turn. Like, I just think that would play very good in scenario. I'm not
All
even
right,
kidding.
well,
Like,
let's put it together and see what it looks like.
yeah, okay. It's a little bit of a meme. Like, I won't lie. And again, I told you I'm serious about the 10-point anchor dire wolf with a shield guard for her, just to make her as safe as we can when we come up for the feet. I don't know. Maybe we use a cannon on her, actually. What do you guys think?
I've liked the bombard a little bit more, especially if you're behind walls of beef. You can just fire over all of your Mana Wars.
All right. And then we need probably some sort of...
Well, you want the shield.
Okay. We'll try that. Yep. Things you never thought you would see.
This is so dumb.
No, but it's great, right? I mean, think about it. Like, the plan for scenario is actually not bad. It is not a bad plan.
I think it comes down to, and this is just my it's a meme, so like we're having fun with this, and this could be whacking it against a list that's just not prepared to crack through this much. They'd be like,
it's really hard when you can't charge to crack through that, though. That's the thing.
It's true. The question is, do they lose on that turn? Because if they don't,
yeah, the problem is, like, okay, I can't charge all your ARM 19 or 20 models, but you like, okay, let's say you're the Baronova player, you go first, and you activate and you run all your models, but your speed 4 plus 2-inch plays plus the 2-inch base size, which is not nothing. But your Mana Wars are moving 9, 11, 13. So you're at the 19-inch line, but you're threading on your melee. I mean, the suppressors threat further with guns, but you're threading on your melee, like your real concentrated damage dealing on your caster who doesn't buff damage at all, is from the 19-inch line, the 28-inch line.
Yeah, which
like,
is through all the middle zones, right?
Yeah, but your opponent can just look at that and go, like, yeah, I will wait.
Yeah,
but that's fine. If they wait, then because your run and engage range is actually pretty far.
Scroll back up. I want to just get one last look at the rest of this army. No. The force. Okay, so we've got one direwolf.
We still have 14 points.
Good. No, we have 19 points because Sergei Kroll doesn't belong anywhere near this list.
I think if you have 4 units of Mana War and you give them all tough, that's not bad.
I guarantee you, as we go to fill this list out, we can find a better use for 5 points. I guarantee it.
I understand. So now
my first blush is that if we're going in on the resurrection plan, the revive plan, get Alexia in there. Now,
yes. Sergei Kroll is 1 point more expensive than Alexia.
Yeah.
I don't know
like
if
Alexia too.
I don't know if you need Alexia. I just think
It gives you the ability to let Nostilla do something besides revive.
yeah.
Also, Long Shadows does not discriminate by whether the spellcaster is faction or not. So, worst comes to worst, like, oh, I don't have anybody to revive. Alexia can throw Hellfire, kill a model super reliably at 8, POW 14 with the ability to cut for rerolls, and give your caster extra focus.
Yep. I like her.
Okay. Yeah, why not? The other I mean, we still have points too, right? So we can put in some of the scatter gunners if we want to come in behind the Man of Wars. I think that's fine.
Sure.
We could put in something that hits harder if we wanted.
I think if I'm honest, you would actually probably benefit more from Bisons in this list than Scattergunners. And while the Scattergunners are tactically flexible, and while you do have a delay feat, the Bison really pushes your opponent's skirmishers out. Man of Wars don't necessarily like dealing with skirmishers, and your Bison gives you the option to deal with something that the rest of your force doesn't like.
Yeah. You have the Hounds, which can operate somewhat, and she's a rack 3, so you can do like Iron Flesh on your Hounds. And can you revive Hounds? I don't even know.
You cannot.
No.
Okay.
They are not grunts, and there are a small handful of recursion abilities that do not say grunt on them. Winter Core has access to none of them.
Right. I'm just going to check Grim Returns really quick. Trooper model.
Yep. It's grunt.
Oh, 1 grunt.
Yeah.
Yep. Fair enough.
You can do it.
So maybe we could take the Hounds out potentially.
You could take. This is the problem. Is like what's worth fielding in Winter Core. Like a lot of Winter Core lists wind up looking homogenized, because the faction, like, you can do some spicy tech, but the faction is often forced to just lean into good stuffs. And I don't know, like, your good stuffs enable your spice. I don't know another way to say it.
Miserable Meat Mountain 4.5.
I mean,
like
if
it.
you ditch the Hounds, that gets you 8 points. You could slam 2 Bisons in there and look at a 3-point solo like a Winter Core officer.
Yeah, I think
I don't hate that.
Like, I don't hate this list. It's kind of weird.
It doesn't spark joy in me like the first one does, but I didn't like it. Like you presented the iteration 1.0, and I think we've salvaged it where I'm like, I don't necessarily want to put a gun in my mouth at the thought of Winter Core again.
Yeah, I don't think Alexia is necessary. I think we could take her out if we wanted.
Sure.
What we would put in, I don't know. 4 points is
if we
could come up with another 4 points, though, we could
Actually,
put
you know what a pretty good 4-point investment is for this list is Prisoner.
Interesting.
And it's not because Prisoner has any explicit synergies. It's because you're using a control feat. You're making the game go a little slow. Your opponent may have a tendency to jam you because one of the few things they can do is run. Your warrior models don't really like fighting dorks, and maybe your opponent comes into you and puts significant force in and drops some of your warjacks. Prisoner effing loves counter punching against, like, oh, you put a lot of resources in, let's go.
Also, fun factor, right? Does she want Karavnik? Probably not.
No.
She likes Karavnik, because Karavnik gets access to Gallows with her, which is pretty awesome, but she doesn't need him.
True.
And I think with this list, I mean,
you have Gallows too, so then you can artificially extend the threat ranges of those. So that whole thing where you were like, I just won't come in. How about I Gallows you in, and now I charge you.
It's tough.
Well, the difference is, like, this isn't Shadow Tongue, who, like, we're looking at 8, like, cost 2 Gallows. We're looking at, like, oh, those man of wars that have, you know, a 10-inch threat range, like, oh boy, I'm really shaking over here. Like, what if it was 10 plus D6? Like, still don't care.
Yeah, because I mean, Man Wars have like a 13-inch run and engage range, right?
Let's see. Move 9, place 2, 1-inch melee. 14 is their maximum. They can
That's a long
touch
way.
you with their feel bad sticks.
That's a long ways. And once you've engaged a bunch of stuff with, you know, whatever, you don't care if they never kill anything again. You're just like, we've set the line of engagement because you backed up, or you let me charge you. Either way, we win. We probably win the game on scenario.
I think you might be surprised by the result of that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It may not go the way
Hey,
you think it's going to go.
How did Josh tell them I'm not crazy? Come on, help me out, Josh.
If we're in the business of like finding some jank to polish, I would be interested in seeing like maybe can we. I'm so sad Shatter is only melee.
I know,
but like
Sorry.
I might be interested in like, you know, like let's find the controller tech that works, because I think it's with Baranova. But I mean, I don't know. We got 14 minutes left in our runtime. Let's build a Vilcool good stuffs list just as a palate cleanser.
do you want to build a real Baranova lift? Obviously, you guys don't like this, which is fine. I have no problem like building like a real list.
But that would probably mean starting with Vilcool.
Well, no, because
I think that this list. I mean, John, I would play this list for you.
Would you really? Because I would play this.
I'll play this list for you. It's Bob Burger's me. I'm going to complain about it the whole time, but I'll play it.
Well, wait, hey, so we did something that we neglected to shout out in the news and announcements segment, which is this past weekend, John and I had a learning stream of how to use Wartable, and let's test some Hazaroth jank. We're considering making this a recurring thing. This might be, I'm busy at the NorCal Classic, but it might be fun to see you guys take on the Baranova jank and find a game where like, let's see if this has legs.
I'll play this Baranova list against somebody. Although full disclosure, I'm terrible at Wartable. The game I played against you is bad. It was really bad. I would like to play that game again because I could play it about 18 times better.
Yeah. It was a teaching instrument.
It was, but I don't like playing that poorly. I don't remember the last time I played that bad. Probably when I played against Andy Bev. The last time I played against Brines, actually. Maybe it's just Brines that screw me up. I'm not sure.
Maybe you just head fake yourself out.
All right, chat. Who wants to play against this Baranova list? And you can't tech for me. That's not fair. We got to play a real game.
Yeah, I wouldn't hate playing against that. I'm not going to pretend.
Yeah,
I'll play it against you.
I would be pleased as punch.
You guys are all going to be like, oh, man. Oops. Nobody will play with me. All right. Well, let's.
I'll still play the list. I'll play it.
That's fine. Let's build Vilcool. Boring.
Yeah. Heck of fun to play though. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, she's so freaking neat.
Yeah.
What, Josh? Are you kidding? Did you see this?
Chat's betraying you.
No, Josh is betraying. My good friend Gigantor is betraying me. I'm pretty sure that's Josh. You can't hurt me, Josh. Fine. Oops. Man, vicious. Actually, I don't mind. I've been told lots of my ideas are bad over the years.
It's okay. You just have a lot of them. You know, it's investment ratio in ideas. You just find the bangers and let the bad ones drop.
Yeah, you just play it once, you'll be like, okay, yeah, that didn't work. Oops.
Yeah. It's a little process called satisficing. By the way, this is like, for me personally, why when it comes to list construction, John, I think you're a bit of a perfectionist. I'm just like we're in the right ballpark. We'll put it on the table, see what happens. I'm big into satisficing, which is explore broadly and shallowly, like just enough to know whether you're onto something or not and move on quickly. Is partially why I prefer to build lists that are under supported rather than over supported. Is just to know if I'm in a functional paradigm or not, and I can cut things to make room for, oh yeah, I can see what this is trying to do. It could probably use a bit more help in this area, but we're close enough. And just keep doing that until something hits.
Yeah, you and I are different. I will build 400 variations of a list that are different by 1 point.
I think I have seen like no exaggeration. Like if I was to put a bottom limit on it, like I would bet this is the lowest number I have seen. I think John has sent me no fewer than 40 Hazaroth list permutations in our DMs.
Every one of them different.
Yeah, that's the bottom bound on that number.
Yeah. But yeah, Josh, we should play a game. I would love that. Well, do you mind streaming it? It'll be fun. And then you could teach me how to also play on War Table. By the way, James Morehouse, I owe him like huge. James is watching us play, and he's like, you can hit the number 1 key to roll 1 dice, and the number 2 key to roll 2 dice, and the number 3 key to roll 3 dice. And I'm like, oh, really? Because I was selecting it from the little dice menu every time. And yeah, that apparently is
I still do that to this day.
Yeah. Poor Alex. No, Alex likes all my list ideas. Trust me.
Yeah, it's a ton of fun because John is very much the different like type for me when it comes to being in the dojo. I think for me at least, I find it to be like really, really beneficial, as we're collaborating on something to put myself into his headspace or go through these exercises with him.
Yeah, no, the War Table hotkeys, the number keys roll dice. The number 1 rolls 1 dice. The number 2 rolls 2 dice. The number 3 rolls 3 dice. And that will save you the most time. That is the only hotkeys you really need to know, right? But yeah.
Aside from shift enter, yeah.
Oh yeah, shift enter like ends all the random movement things that you haven't closed out yet, like clicking on the little green checkbox. So that's also true. All right, let's build this list. Vilkul obviously is very strong. We don't have to go. I think everybody knows what Vilkul does. We also don't have time to go through them. But basically, this is a murder hobo that is very personally dangerous.
Yep. Yeah, she'll dictate where you get to stand on the board. She'll put you under threat. She has a feat that will buy her enough time to connect if she has to play a slow game. She can move around the board like nobody's business. Essentially because she's kind of non-committal to any specific plan. She kind of operates well at everything and is just leveraging, using that personal threat as a big fat lever.
Yeah.
One of the advantages of this is you can play good stuffs very easily because this caster can kind of do whatever the good stuffs needs rather than having your army components built around her kit.
Yeah, she's unique in that you can have a lot of independent modules that just kind of work and do work. And then she just sits there and is like, and if your leader ends within my bubble of death, well, it's go time and you're going to die. Here I come. So it's one of my favorite ways to play an assassination caster in that she is you're not necessarily pulling the trigger on it, but she's a zone threat. She's zoning you out of where you can be. And everything that you put in the list can contribute to that. You can go a couple of different directions. You can go enablers for her, enablers for the army, just general good modules. Yeah, there's a lot of different directions you can take her. And I think all of them are good.
All right, Gigantor is going to be on the podcast next week. We'll probably,
awesome.
Josh, do you want to? do you want to build some Storm Legion lists, or what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about Gravediggers,
Ooh,
Storm
that would be
Legion, something
exciting.
else? Umbre? You play like 85 factions, so you have to tell me what you want to talk about. I think he's been playing Storm Legion lately, I believe, and we haven't done that yet, so that would be fun. All right, so let's talk about good stuff then. Obviously, we've got to put some jacks in the list.
Yep,
I
go
think
ahead
an
and
avalanche
slam
goes
Razor.
very. I think an avalanche goes very well as well.
We're gonna start with Razor. Avalanche is
Oh,
good,
yeah.
but we're
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
start with Razor.
This is an
We're
82-point list. You get Racer for free.
Yep. we're gonna start with the Hounds.
Yes.
Okay.
We're gonna tap at least one Bison and at least one Officer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know. We have a good idea of what the good stuffs are. Chris, why don't you take us through what sort of the orthodoxy is here for a minute?
All right. So, from a battle group standpoint, we can synergize the Razor with an Avalanche. I think that's a good build. We can also go
Yep.
Medveditsa. We can do both. We can
I'm
do it.
from my Winter Core locals. I'm used to seeing Medveditsa, but I think there's a strong argument for both. She often wants 3 heavies, mostly just because you can make them stealth.
Yep. Yeah, that's always fun. So I say throw Mama Bear and an Avalanche in there. And that'll take
I'm
us to
down.
our 3 heavy. I like the 3 heavy look with her too, because it creates a very threatening front that your opponent has to respect.
Yep, because their caster has to respect essentially what is going to be most of the time a straight down the middle of the board thing. So their battle group kind of has a tendency to hollow out of the middle. And then you can put a delaying jack on one side and then like 2 other and I'm going to crush you on this side.
Yep. Yeah, it allows you to leverage threat really well.
Mhm.
There's one solo we haven't talked about yet, and now that we're in the lightning round, merits throwing in here. Kruger 3.
Yes.
Yeah, talk about an independent module that works. Vilcool absolutely loves those. Needs no support to just be amazing. Slam them in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, question,
Mm-hmm.
and I know the answer to this already, but anytime I put Kruger in a list, I also think about adding Nastilla, only because Vision on Kruger makes me super excited. I was going to say something else, but this is a family friendly show.
If we go for Nastilla, Vision is cool and all. If we go for Nastilla, though, we probably wind up cutting the Avalanche or Medveditsa, because Nastilla and Aberration tend to be more of a slow gameplay. It's not that you can't do it, but also like so much of Winter Core good stuffs doesn't synergize with them,
Totally
or
understand. Yeah,
or in general just wants to like live fast, die young.
got it.
Yeah,
We're definitely going to
typically-
tap Arcanus for this.
Yes, definitely. If you're going to go the 20-point module with Vilcool, you'll typically see Big Pig or Invictus, and usually Big Pig for that offensive down the throat punch like Alex was talking about.
Yeah, and it's not even necessarily that you're counting on Big Pig to make attacks. You're just counting on Big Pig to dictate board position and squeeze your opponent into a smaller and smaller box.
While Vilcool's just sneaking up near him, going, "Come on, poke the head out.
Yeah.
Let's see it."
Yep.
I do like that we have three jacks. I think 3 jacks is pretty nice in this steamroller packet. So anytime you can get away with running 3 jacks, it's good. Speaking as a dust player, we have to work a little harder to be able to play 3 jacks than you Cowder players with your privilege. But
I think that's the first time that's been said since Dust got its like core and battle group starter. Like the envy has worked 100% the opposite way for the last 2.5 years, John.
don't bother me with details. I don't need facts. All right. What other good stuff were we going to put in here?
So good lane clearers and good enablers. Snipers with the Hound are very good as a one-off splash. Vilcool does have a ranged weapon that can get some work done. And with an officer can give you also a surprisingly weird little janky Swift Hunter move. That your opponent may not be expecting. Like she may land somewhere. Oh, she's a little short. Slap something with a ranged attack, suddenly moves 2 inches. Oh, she's not short anymore. Oh God, here we go.
Also, as
Ta-da.
per standard, you won't necessarily want to rack Fog of War all the time. It can be handy because stealth battle group neat. But Avenging Force is sort of like the closest Winter Corps comes to bolt it to the caster all the time.
Yeah.
And Winter Corps snipers are just so good for turning that on. And because Vilkul's running this zone control box out game,
Mhm.
Avenging Force slots in very naturally.
Yeah.
And
You
I
often run
also like
superiority
it.
too.
Often
Security's good.
is Vilkul's
Yeah.
a 3-banger for rack spells. So
Yeah.
I
yeah, you
know. For
certainly
no
can.
reason there's no rhyme or reason to why people are rack whatever, except for
No.
Bitcher. They're just like, well, he's dumb, so he's gonna have a rack 1. But most of the time you're just like, why is that person rack 3?
Yeah, I'm like, cool. I like it. Winter Core is a good rack, so I'm happy to see the 3. But why? I'm not asking. Another one I like seeing for that same synergy is infantry plus standard. Another good little zone clearer. Another good little avenging force trigger. Should that show up? Big fan.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and I think this is a decent home for it because she's sort of running like her strongest advantage in the faction is that she actually doesn't support anything, which means sort of she's such a weird caster. But yeah, the Winter Corps infantry can be super good. Just because they give you like higher accuracy attacks to clear a specific neighborhood of the board.
Yep. Are you doing autocannons then? Probably.
You can do autocannon. You can do. I actually like a one-of autocannon rocket launcher or whatever it's called. Bazooka.
That's what I've heard as well. Yeah, the autocannon rocket launcher sort of gives you maximum versatility.
The reason being for anybody who doesn't know is that the rocket launcher lets you attack hard targets, and you still can do a maximum full blast laser beam CRA from the autocannon.
Yep.
Only
Or you can do individual pair ups off the autocannon to do high accuracy dude clearing. Or
why I like the autocannon in particular is if you 2-man CRA, so like if you roll a bunch of shots with it, 2 shots, 3 shots, whatever, 2-man CRAs get volume fire, so it's like giving volume fire to your to your dudes, which is kind of fun.
Oh yeah.
Another possible avenue of pursuit. I think the infantry is good, especially because we're just supplementing baseline scenario presence with a number of scoring units. But another variation you can go is second officer, second bison. I don't think we need to here.
I like that. I don't know if I like that in the SR packet currently. Putting 20 points in solos.
Yeah,
seems rough.
Don't hate that. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I don't hate anything about this. You have 8 points. You have a lot of options.
Yeah, there's a few things that we can do here.
This is where we now start looking at like weirdo fun solos.
Yep.
Or maybe a second unit of Arcanus.
So one fun thing that we can do, Korupnik, I don't hate in this list simply because he can throw a cloud down on Vilkul and suddenly she's stealth if you didn't rack Fog 4.
Or throw a cloud on any of your warjacks.
Yeah. Yeah, and the cloud moves with them, so that takes a positioning tax away from you. So, and that'll also leave you with 5 points, which might be a little weird or not. Like I said, this is where we get to actually see what we do. I mean, a second squad of snipers for 5 does not suck. We can do Arcanists and then like what's her name? Valkova, I forget. We could do that as well for an 8-point module. Yeah, Volkova. That's an option. Like there's it's all kind of more about now what do you want your list to look like.
Yep. Even Lazarenko is not bad here. Mostly just because he's an independent guy.
Yep.
Like he just does his thing. I mean, I
crit stagger on his colossal is pretty cool, I hear.
I think we can leave this one honestly to audience imagination because like we've hit all the good stuff buttons. We've arrived at a list that works, fill to taste.
Yeah.
Yes, looks pretty good to me.
I mean, I think Davies a while back was running Lazarenko and Alexia in a similar sort of paradigm, which is also not bad.
Yeah, that was way back before the new packet, though. I think he since
I
moved
see.
a lot of the solos out. Yeah,
Sure.
for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I actually kind of like this. I probably, for me, I don't know how we built all these lists and no scatter gunners. This does not feel right.
Oh yeah, you can totally dump them in there too.
Yeah, 100%. You are left
Actually,
with 1 point, and that's where things get a little strange because there is no.
Well, I mean, that's where your like obsessive compulsive disorder is like,
do I do the 1 point or do I just let it go?
well, it's hard because we don't have any like jacks we can adjust, right?
Yeah, no, they're all fixed chassis. There's nothing you can do there.
Mm-hmm. We can cut the standard for a mechanic. Wait, no, that's a terrible idea.
I would rather the standard at 1 point than the mechanic.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah, the standard's actually pretty good.
It's 1 point for inspiration. And
well, you also get another rifle.
Yep. It's
with
awesome.
CRA.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, actually, can you explain that to me? How he's cheaper than a Winter Korps infantry model?
No, I can't.
No one can explain that to you.
Actually, that's one thing that tilts the living tar out of me is the Solus are all 6 points. And I just look at them and I'm like, what? Couldn't these guys be 5 points? Or like 4 points for 5 models? Because they don't do anything. They're terrible. And they have total victim stats.
So if you look at the first 3 Mark IV faction or the first 3 Mark IV armies, and then starting kind of in Dusk, but mostly in Brine Bloods onward, there's a clear pivot in design philosophy. Like Winter Corps and Orgoth Sea Raiders and Storm Legion, while still viable and metagame relevant, tend to have like a simplicity to their design philosophy that is often disappointing or frustrating.
All right, fair enough. Well, I think we got there. Nobody liked my Baranova list. I'm hurt. I'm hurt.
Well, this is what the stream games are for, John. You got to prove everybody wrong live on camera.
I'm gonna play Baranova until I lose the game. So it may be one stream game, but it may be like 6. So I probably shouldn't start with Josh because I don't think I could beat Josh with a good list, let alone a meme list. That's that's probably a bad plan. But I think we built some good lists. Actually, this is the faction that I was most interested in playing. I mean, I sort of accidentally ended up on Dusk, and that was a very happy accident because I really love Hazaroth. But Winter Corps was what I was going to play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm glad you landed on Dusk. If you started in Winter Corps, you might not have stuck with the game.
No,
I think that's unfair.
I would have.
I know. I'm being a little bit of a jerk.
I would have 100% made Baranova work. I probably wouldn't have played
she works. She works.
Yep.
She's arguably the best leader in the entire army. And the best part about Winter Corps right now is they actually have some banging leaders. Like, they're good.
Yeah, I like who's the one that has kill order? I like that one too.
Saverin.
Saverin. Yeah. The only one I don't understand is the guy with the gun. I don't understand him.
Boris? He casts gun. It's not hard to understand.
Okay. Yeah, I just don't
get what that guy does. That casts gun every turn. You want to cast gun as much as you can. Then on feet turn, everyone else casts gun too. It's pretty cool.
So wait a minute. You beat Chris Davies like a drum this weekend's SR. So you should let me win with Baranova so you can tell Chris Davies that you lost to John's meme list, but you crushed him. And then, this is what I'm going with, right? I know you're not going to buy it,
Josh. You don't accept this offer without under the table money discussions.
A lot of money. Josh does not
because like it's going to take some hefty compensation to deal with Chris's antics after that.
No, yeah, Chris. I've only played Chris Davies one time. Turns out I crushed him too at the WTC with Amon. I crushed Chris Davies with Amon versus P. Sorsha.
Oh God.
Not something that should ever happen. I'm just saying it shouldn't happen. But that was an interesting game. that was a lot of fun.
Sounds like shenanigans.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, well, we're actually a little over on time, but this was a good episode. I hope you guys had a good time. We had a lot of people in here tonight.
I had
Next
a
week,
great time on this episode. I was expecting to to be super depressed on Winter Court just because I'm a hater, but this was a lot of fun.
I can make anything sound fun.
This is absolutely true.
No, I mean that yeah, I should probably be on commission from SFG. What would PP? I always felt like PP owed me because I sold more bad models than
Oh my God.
or unplayed model. I sold so many unplayed models. People just
there are a few of you from back in the day that definitely made them rich off of underplayed, underutilized models.
Oh no, Josh turned Chris back on. That's not good. You restarted him. That's funny. All right. So good news, chat. Or anybody watching this next week, Gigantor or Josh Bates from Australia, WTC champion, all around good guy, is going to be on. We're going to do Storm Legion, so that'll be really fun. And then the week after that, we're going to have another Aussie on. Aaron Whaley is going to be on, along with Ryan Sherboga. And we're gonna do an episode. We're gonna take a break from building lists, and we're gonna talk about being old heads coming back to the game. So Aaron Whaley just came back. He's been back for like 2 weeks. Cherboga has been back basically as long as I have. So we're just gonna reminisce about old Warmachine, talk about coming back to the game, our impressions of it, and then hopefully try and encourage other people that are on the fence of like, should I dip my toe back in? Do I want to get into this obsessive thing that I should not do? Yeah. So 100%. And I'm 100% beating Josh with Baranova, which means I need to get like 3 or 4 practice. I reserve the right to adjust this list a little bit too. Just a little.
Okay.
I'm really excited for this showdown.
Yeah. Just yeah. I love those guys too. Absolutely. Yeah. So
I'm waiting to see John's adjustments and like inside his head, like, maybe Vilcool could cast Tempest. If you think about it, Cyclone is a lot like having an arc node.
You do not know me that well then, sir. I would not change the caster.
Oh man.
Yeah. But yeah, so exciting next couple weeks. Appreciate everybody being on, and we'll see everybody soon. And I guess we're out. Chris, do you want to talk about anything before we go? I know Boost to Hit is coming back online, right? More stuff coming out.
Yeah, we've got a few. We've got some content actually planned now. Life got in the way a little bit, but the clouds are clearing and the skies are looking blue and sunny. So keep tuned. We'll have more articles, more podcasts coming out in the near future.
Yeah.
Awesome news.
Oh, I just lost my mic stand. Oops. Also, I guess that's a sign. All right.
And we're out.
Peace and love, everyone. And sorry we didn't get to math this week. And I'm not even sure we'll ever get to math, but eventually that'll happen.
I don't think we will.
All right.